Good morning, students. I hope I am audible. So let us
Yes,
start
sir.
today's class. Before starting today's class, let us have a small recap of previous class. In the previous class, as it was the first class, we have discussed what is electronics. Then we have discussed the course objectives and outcomes with respect to basic electronics course. And also we have started with module 1, which is semiconductor diodes and applications. So in the last class we started with the introduction of what is a diode or PN junction diode, and we came across the fact that this PN junction diode is a two layer device which conducts in one direction, and there are several applications where this PN junction diode is used. Some of the applications are rectification, voltage regulation, protection against high voltage, wave shaping, etc. And also we came across the fact that there are some kind of special purpose diodes like Zener diode and LEDs. After that, we started with the operation of this PN junction diode. While discussing this operation of PN junction diode, we came across the phenomenon that takes place when a PN junction is formed, and it is called as unbiased PN junction because we are not applying any external voltage. So in this phenomenon, initial step or the first step in this phenomenon when two P and N type semiconductors are joined is diffusion. So diffusion takes place. The holes which are majority charge carriers in p-type semiconductor move towards n side, and the electrons which are majority carriers in n-type semiconductor move towards p side. Whenever this movement takes place, the first thing that happens is a recombination of electrons and holes. So at the vicinity of this joining, that is at the vicinity of this junction, means near this junction, here recombination of electrons with some of the holes takes place. Here recombination of holes with some of the electrons takes place. Then afterwards what will happen is the atoms which are present here will become negative ions by accumulating excess of electrons, and the atoms which are present here become positive ions by losing electrons, that is by addition of holes. Then and this place is called as a depletion region, as it is depleted of charge carriers, that is charge carriers will be absent, and this depletion region will indeed produce an electric field. So this electric field will avoid further movement of holes from this side to n side, and movement of electrons from n side to p side. But what this electric field will help is the movement of minority carriers. So the minority carriers in p are electrons, so electrons can move towards n side, and the minority carriers in n type are holes, and holes can move towards p side. The number of these minority carriers will be very less, and these minority carriers are thermally generated, means due to the heating effect of movement of these electrons and holes, these minority carriers will be generated, and this electric field will assist the movement of minority carriers. So after attaining equilibrium, the condition will be something like this. So there will be a depletion region formed for an unbiased PN junction diode. An electric field will exist here. Due to this electric field, a potential will be developed here, which is represented as V naught. And this is positive terminal anode, and this is negative terminal cathode. So now let us discuss the second step in this operation, that is reverse bias. So in the reverse bias, as the name indicates, what we are doing is we are connecting the negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal of the diode. That is, to anode we are connecting negative terminal of battery, to the cathode we are connecting positive terminal of the battery. So now what will happen is, as you already know, the depletion region is formed here. So I will just move on to this. So depletion region, what it consists of? It consists of negative ions. So it consists of negative ions. Negative ions are formed by addition of an electron to an atom, right? So whenever this negative side of battery is connected to p type, what will happen is the holes which are majority charge carriers in the p type will move towards the negative terminal of the battery. So they are attracted towards the negative terminal of the battery. Simultaneously, the electrons which are majority charge carriers in this n type will move towards positive terminal of the battery. So here what will happen is the electrons which are accumulated in this depletion region forming ions with the atom will also tend to move towards the positive terminal of the battery. Hence, what will happen is the width of the depletion region will increase on both the sides. So here on the n side, what you can see is you can see the positive ions which are formed in the depletion region. The further movement of electrons towards the positive terminal of the battery will also increase the width of the depletion region. So on the both sides, what will happen is the width of depletion region will increase, and here a small amount of current will flow. That small amount of current is nothing but reverse saturation current, which is formed due to the minority charge carriers. So here the minority charge carriers are electrons which will be attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery, and here minority carriers are holes which are attracted towards the negative terminal of the battery. Therefore only a small current which is called as reverse saturation current will flow in the diode during the reverse biased condition. And one more important thing is the width of depletion region will be increased in case of reverse bias. So this is the circuit symbol. So you can see this is positive terminal of diode, this is negative terminal of the diode. So this positive terminal of the diode is connected to the negative terminal of battery, and the negative terminal of diode is connected to positive terminal of the battery. This is the direction in which the reverse saturation current will flow. Always the direction of current will be in the conventional direction, that is from positive side of the battery towards the negative side of the battery. In this direction the current will flow. So the arrow mark is towards the negative terminal of the battery. From positive terminal the current will flow to the negative terminal. So the direction is like this. And one more important thing is the reverse saturation current. In case of silicon diode, it will be in terms of nanoampere. In case of germanium diode, it will be in terms of milliampere. Next step in this operation of PN junction diode is the forward bias. Usually the diode is manufactured to operate in the forward biased condition. So in the forward biased condition, it will work like a switch. So how does it work in forward biased condition is, first of all, to make this diode to work in forward biased condition, we have to connect the positive terminal of diode to positive terminal of battery. That is, anode is connected to positive terminal of battery, and cathode of diode to negative terminal of the battery. Now what will happen is the electrons in the n side of this uh, diode will be attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery, and holes on the p side will get attracted towards the negative terminal of the battery. So this will make the depletion region to reduce in size. So the depletion region will be reduced. You already know how depletion region is formed. It is formed due to the accumulation of immobile ions. So here negative immobile ions are there. Here positive immobile ions are there, right? So the negative immobile ions strength will be reduced, and the strength of positive immobile ions will also be reduced. And here the width of this depletion region will in turn come down, and current will flow from the positive terminal of battery towards the negative terminal of the battery, which is called as the forward current. So here it is indicated IF, right? So always this IF will be in the direction of the movement of holes, right? So here At the p side, holes are majority carriers, so the holes will move in this direction. So and the electrons, which are majority carriers here, will move in this direction. So the always this if, or the direction of this conventional current, will be in the direction of the movement of holes. This is the circuit symbol of this forward biased condition. So here you can see the positive terminal of the diode, which is anode, is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and the negative terminal of this diode, which is cathode, is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. And the current direction is in from positive terminal to the negative terminal, that is from left to right. Here also you can observe the direction of current will be from positive terminal of battery towards negative, that is from right to left. Always the conventional current direction will be from positive terminal of battery to the negative terminal of the battery. Here also the conventional current direction is from positive terminal of the battery towards the negative terminal, right? So here there will be two currents which will come into picture. So this is constituting of two currents. The first one is the movement of majority carriers, the current due to movement of majority carriers. You can call that as II, that is the injunction current, that is the holes which flow from P to N and the electrons which flow from N to P. The current which is produced due to this movement, you can call it as injunction current, and it can be represented as II. And the current which flows due to the minority carriers, which is almost zero, or you can take it as zero in this case, is the reverse saturation current, IS. So in forward biased condition, the value of this IS will be zero. Therefore, this IF, that is forward current, you can take it as injunction current minus IS, or else it is simply the injunction current, as this is very near to zero. One more important thing in case of forward bias diode is you can limit the value of this IF, means you can increase or decrease the value of this IF by connecting a resistor here. If you connect a resistor and if you vary the value of this resistance, you may in turn vary the value of this IF. Suppose you increase the value of the resistance which is connected here, the value of this IF will come down. Suppose you decrease the value of resistance, the value of IF will be increased. So this is how PN junction will behave in case of forward biased condition. So in forward biased condition, you have to remember two things. One is the current flows from positive terminal of battery towards negative, that is due to movement of majority carriers, and the width of depletion region will be reducing in case of forward bias. In case of in case of reverse bias, the current will move in the opposite direction, and the width of depletion region will be more. Next is the diode characteristics, or the VI characteristics of diode. So what this VI characteristic indicate is the behavior of a diode with respect to the application of forward voltage and the response, that is current, forward current. So here you can see the first quadrant of this graph indicates the forward characteristics. The third quadrant of this graph indicates the reverse characteristic. The forward characteristic you can obtain in the forward biased condition of the diode, and reverse characteristic is produced when the diode is reverse biased. Here there are two characteristics. You can see the two curves here. One is for germanium diode, the second one is for silicon diode. Here also you can see two graphs. One is for silicon diode, second one is for germanium diode. So on the x-axis you can see VD. What is VD? VD is the voltage across this diode. That is, if you measure voltage with the help of voltmeter between this point and this point, that is your VD. Voltage across these 2 points is VD. That is called as forward voltage or voltage across the diode. What is ID? ID is the current which flows through the diode when it is forward biased. Right? So ID is the current which flows through the diode when it is forward biased. In case of forward biased condition, ID will be equal to IF. Right? So in case of this forward characteristic, you can see ID will vary in terms of milliampere, and voltage VD will be in terms of volt. right? So as you know, for a germanium diode, there is something called as knee voltage, which is around zero point 0.3. Therefore, when you start increasing the voltage in the forward bias condition, all for almost till this knee voltage or this threshold voltage VT, you will have very small or negligible increase in current. After this VT, if you increase the voltage, there is a large or a rapid increase in current. So this region is called as the knee region of the curve, and the voltage after which this knee region breaks down is called as knee voltage, or else it is also called as threshold voltage. It is around zero point 0.3 for germanium. Similarly, if you see silicon diode, the knee voltage will be around zero point 0.7. Therefore, till you reach zero point 0.7, if you keep on increasing the voltage, almost the forward current will be zero or negligible. After this zero point 0.7, if you increase the voltage, it will be increasing rapidly. So this is in case of silicon diode, right? Coming to the reverse characteristic, as I already told, diode is not meant to operate in reverse biased condition. Usually, the diode will be operated in forward biased condition, and in forward biased condition, it will work like this, and it will behave like a switch. In case of reverse biased condition, what will happen is the current is very negligible. In case of germanium diode, a reverse saturation current of around 1 milliampere will flow as you keep on increasing the voltage in the reverse direction. For example, 0 after 0, minus zero point 0.1, minus zero point 0.2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. As you keep on increasing this voltage in the reverse direction, so you will have a negligible amount of current, which is around 1 micro ampere. At a very large value of voltage, which is termed as Vz, which is called as breakdown voltage, there will be sudden increase in current. So this rapid increase in current due to application of very high reverse voltage is called as breakdown. So this is called as breakdown or reverse breakdown of diode, and the voltage which is responsible for this reverse breakdown or breakdown of diode is called as reverse breakdown voltage, which is represented as Vz. So for germanium, Vz will be around this much value. It can be around it will be less compared to silicon. Around 10 volt, 15 volt will be the reverse breakdown voltage. In case of silicon diode, the reverse saturation current will be still less. It will be around only 10 nanoampere. So it looks like as if it is grazing the x-axis, but actually it will be a small finite value which is around 10 nanoampere. So here what will happen is the reverse breakdown voltage will be still greater than the reverse breakdown voltage of germanium. So it will be around 30 volts, 20, 30, and 50. So these are the typical values of reverse breakdown voltage. So here also the breakdown occurs in the same fashion. As you increase the reverse voltage to a very high value called as reverse breakdown voltage, there is a sudden increase in current in the reverse direction, and this process is called as a breakdown. And it is very important to note that if you keep the diode to operate in this reverse breakdown voltage for a longer time, or if sufficiently high amount of current will flow, there can be permanent damage to the diode. To avoid this permanent damage to the diode, it is always advisable to have a resistor to limit the current. And that too, if you increase the value of resistance, the reverse current may come down. So this is all about the diode or the forward characteristics and reverse characteristics of diode. Next is a breakdown. As I already told, what is breakdown? It is a drastic increase in the reverse current when you apply a very high reverse voltage. The very high reverse voltage that you apply is called as a breakdown voltage. So this reverse breakdown usually takes place in two ways. The first way is avalanche effect. So in this avalanche effect, what will happen is, as you already know, in case of reverse bias condition, minority charge carriers from P to N, that is, electrons are minority carriers from in P, and holes are minority carriers in N. So the minority carriers from N can move towards P, and the minority carriers in P can move towards N in reverse bias condition. So if here, if you see, electrons are minority carriers. Due to application of very high reverse voltage, these electrons will acquire high energy and they will collide with the nearby atoms. When they collide with high energy with the nearby atoms, they in turn release the valence electrons from the nearby atoms. So the valence electrons means the electrons in the outermost shell. When these electrons are released, they will also acquire high energy and they will enter the conduction band. So these newly generated electrons or newly generated carriers will again collide with the nearby atoms and generate more carriers. So in this way, carrier multiplication will take place, and within a small amount of time, more number of carriers will be generated on both sides. Here, more number of electrons will be generated. Here, sufficiently more number of holes will be generated, and they will cross. The electrons will move towards N and the holes move towards the P. So this will result in the flow of large current in the reverse breakdown. So this process is called as avalanche effect. So I hope this is clear. So to avoid permanent breakdown or permanent damage to the diode, you may use a resistor in the reverse biased condition. So the resistor will limit the current so that it will avoid the permanent breakdown or permanent damage of the diode. The second type of breakdown that takes place is called as Zener breakdown. Usually this Zener breakdown will take place in a special purpose diode called as Zener diode. So this Zener diode is called as a special purpose diode because it is designed or it is manufactured to operate in reverse biased condition. So usually the diode will be designed to operate in forward bias condition, but this special purpose diode, which is called as a Zener diode, is manufactured to operate in the reverse bias condition. So this Zener diode, the specialty of this is the reverse breakdown voltage will be very less. So it will be as less as 5 volt or 10 volt, right? So this small reverse bias voltage, reverse breakdown voltage can be achieved by heavily doping the P type and N type semiconductors. So whenever you heavily dope P type and N type semiconductor, the width of depletion region will be reduced. When the width of depletion region is reduced, the external voltage that you apply here will exert more electric field. Due to this more electric field, what will happen is sufficient number of electrons from P and sufficient number of holes from N will cross this junction and huge current will flow. This effect is called as Zener effect, and it is different from avalanche effect. So this Zener effect or this Zener breakdown takes place in special purpose diode called as Zener diode, where the breakdown voltage will be very less. It will be as less as 5 volt and 10 volt. And this small reverse breakdown voltage is achieved by heavily doping the P and N type semiconductors of this diode. So I hope this is clear. The
ಸಿದ್ದೇಶ್ವರಿಯ
forward bias
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ
operation.
ಕತೆ ಅಂತ
Any problem? I hope the forward bias and reverse bias condition of the diode is clear. Any doubts in this? So what I will do is to get more clarity. To get more clarity, let us conduct an experiment. So physical experiment is not possible. So let us do virtual experiment. So I will take you to this site. So this is a virtual labs site. Is it visible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us see how the diode behaves in forward biased condition. So you can see the diode here. So this is your PN junction diode, and this is ammeter, which is connected in series with a resistor, right? And we have a voltmeter which is connected across this diode. So what I will do is, so I will keep some value for this resistance. So around 1000 is there. It means that it is 1 kilo ohm. So the resistance I have kept is 1 kilo ohm. So the diode that I have selected is a silicon diode, and in silicon diode there are so many variants. So I have selected IN 4004. So I have selected this device. So this device is having the forward voltage drop or the knee voltage or the threshold voltage as zero point 0.6. So what I will do is initially I will keep the voltage low, as low as around 0. So you can see, so when the voltage is almost equal to 0, no current is flowing through this circuit. You can see the ammeter is showing 0. No current is flowing through this circuit, and also the voltage across this diode, which is our forward voltage, is also 0. Now if I slightly increase the voltage, so I can see the voltage is around zero point 0.5. Still there is no current which is flowing through the circuit, and also the voltage drop is also 0. Why this is happening is because for this diode, which is IN 4004, for this the knee voltage or threshold voltage is around zero point 0.6, and the voltage that you have applied is only zero point 0.5. Therefore no current will flow. When you slightly increase this voltage beyond the threshold voltage, for example this one, right? So what you can see is there is a flow of current. So you can observe ammeter is showing some deflection. It is 0.388, and also this voltmeter is showing a deflection, right? Now if I increase this voltage further, so I have increased this to 1.6. So the voltage drop across this diode will be almost nearly equal to this zero point 0.6. It will not go beyond that. So the current is increasing. You can see there is increase in current. Still if I increase this voltage, so you can see current is further increasing, and the voltage drop is nearly equal to the same zero point 0.6, right? So here further the current is increasing. Similarly, you can check for different values, right? So if I keep this to maximum value that is available here is 5 volt. So there is a current of around 4.27 milli. This is in milliampere, right? And the voltage drop across this diode will be almost nearly equal to zero point 0.6 only, right? So coming to forward characteristics, what we can do here is we can plot the forward characteristics for this diode for different voltages. So initially I will keep this voltage 0, right? So 0 means nearly it is zero point 0.2, right? So I will add this value to the table, right? Next I will increase one more, I will give one more value to this diode. So it is around zero point 0.6. So again I will add this to table. Next one more value. So again I will add this to the table. Next I will give one more value. So I will add that to the table, right? One more value for DC voltage. I will add that to table. So what I am doing now is I am constructing the forward characteristics. And two more values I will give. The final value. So here you can see the tabulation. So these are the different values of forward voltage. So you should not confuse this column. These are not values that you have applied for the battery, right? So these are the values which are the output of this voltmeter, means voltage across this diode. So this column represents the different voltages across this diode, right? And these are the values of current in milliampere which flows through this diode. Now what I will do is I will simply plot this. So if I press the plot button, so I will get the graph like this, right? So this is the first point, right? First point for 0. What is the first entry in your table, right? When the forward voltage is 0, you have a 0 forward current. So this is the first plot, right? Then afterwards, when voltage is around, forward voltage is around 0.54, so what is the current that you get? 0.485 milliampere, right? So this is the second one, right? Current is 0.485 milliampere. So this is the next value, plot value. This is the next one, and so on. You can see, right? So all these current values will be concentrated almost nearly equal to the forward voltage drop or the knee voltage. So this is called as the knee of the forward characteristic. I hope this is clear. Any doubts in this? You can check for different diodes. You can check, you can do this procedure for different diodes, and you can check how the diode responds in forward bias condition, and also how the forward characteristics of diode will indicate the behavior of diode. So next, after this, let us see the reverse biased diode. So this is for reverse bias silicon diode. So I will select one of the diodes. So I will select the same IN 4004. The reverse breakdown voltage for this is 30 volt. So reverse bias condition means here what we have to do is, so we have to connect the positive terminal of the battery to negative terminal of diode, and we have to connect negative terminal of the battery to positive terminal of the diode. And this is the voltmeter which indicates the reverse voltage across the diode, and this is the ammeter which will measure the current which flows through the diode in the reverse biased condition. So initially when the voltage is 0, voltage applied is 0, there will be very small current which will be flowing through the diode, very small current, and this current is in terms of microampere, very small current. So let us add this to table. Then afterwards let us give one more value for this, right? So here current is very small, right? You can observe that the current is almost constant. In the graph also you have seen already, the current will be constant till you reach a voltage which is called as reverse breakdown voltage. So the reverse breakdown voltage for this diode is around 30 volt. So I will give one more value for this voltage. So I have given two values for this voltage. Still the current is constant, very small current. So now the voltage is around 20. Still the current is 0.1 microampere, right? Only the voltage drop across this diode is increasing. See, now it is around 23. So now you can see the voltage is 30, right? So you can see rapid increase in current. So it is around 20 microampere. So here you can observe. So as you keep increasing the reverse voltage, only the voltage across this diode is increasing. So you can observe this increase in the reverse voltage, but the current is constant. This is called as reverse saturation current. in the reverse biased diode. So this is reverse saturation current, which is very small. It is zero point 0.1 microampere, zero point 0.1 microampere. Now, when the applied reverse voltage is almost nearly equal to the reverse breakdown voltage, a sudden current will flow. This is 20 microampere, right? Till here, the current till this voltage current is only zero point 0.1 microampere. When the voltage applied voltage is equal to the reverse breakdown voltage, so there is sudden flow of current. Now I will plot this. So here you can see the response, right? So this is 0. If you consider this as y-axis, so y-axis is not visible. This is x-axis, negative x-axis. So you are increasing the voltage 0, 5 volt, minus 10 volt. As this is reverse voltage, it is in negative, right? So till here, you can see the current is very small, right? Till here, the current is very small. So beyond this minus 26, right? So this is the breakdown, right? You can see the breakdown. The voltage is minus 29. So there is a sudden increase in current in the reverse direction. So this is how the diode will behave in the reverse biased condition. So there is a sudden increase in current when the reverse voltage goes beyond the reverse breakdown voltage. So you can observe here there are different diodes available. For this diode, it is 30 volt. If you change the diode, right? So IN 4448. For this diode, the reverse breakdown voltage is only 20. So it means that give 20, when you give 20, uh, right? So I will keep some value of resistance here. So resistance is around 1 kilo ohm, right? The applied voltage. So you can see the voltage applied is 9, but current is very small. Now the applied voltage is 13, current is still same. Now it is 19, still there is small current. Now when the voltage goes beyond this 20, you can see 22, there is sudden increase in current. So this is IN 4448. This is also a silicon diode, which is having the reverse breakdown voltage 20. So when the reverse voltage is beyond the reverse breakdown, then a large amount of current will flow through this. And one more important point, what we have discussed in the PPD is, so this resistance can limit the flow of current. Now we have till now we have kept a constant value for this resistance. Now if I increase this resistance value, see here the current is coming down, right? Still if I increase, it will come down to 11, right? Like this, even in reverse breakdown, reverse biased condition, you can control the flow of current by increasing the resistance. So this resistance in turn will protect the diode in the reverse biased condition, right? If this resistance is not there and the large amount of current, if you allow that current to flow through this diode for a longer time, this diode may damage permanently. Therefore, to avoid the damage of this diode, we are using a resistor. So this will limit the current. I hope this is clear. You can also take a printout of the characteristics, whatever you get here. This is Virtual Labs website. So here you can conduct virtual labs for almost all subjects. You can get the practical knowledge of all the concepts that are there in your syllabus, and you can clearly understand how exactly a particular device or circuit works.
Sir, share that link in the group, sir.
Definitely, definitely. So coming back to the PPT, this is the next topic, diode relationship. Here we have observed the forward and reverse characteristics of diode. So this forward and reverse characteristics of diode, that is this behavior, these graphs can be modeled using an equation. So this is that equation. This is called as a diode equation or diode relationship or current equation. So here this is the current ID. It is also called as forward current. So this is equal to the reverse saturation current IS within bracket e to the power of k into Vd by Tk minus 1. So this is the equation which models the behavior of the current. So how the current varies with respect to variation in forward voltage Vd. Using this equation also you can create this graph for different values of voltage. You have to calculate the different value of current id for different vd values. You have to calculate different id values, and you can plot this on your graph sheet. So this equation exactly models the characteristic. In this equation, is, as I already told, is a reverse saturation current. Then k is called as Boltzmann constant, and in this equation it is approximated to be 11,600 divided by eta. So eta is a constant which will be 1 for germanium diode and 2 for silicon diode for low current, that is below the knee curve. Low current means here, right, up to here. This is called as knee. From this point to this point you can use 1 for germanium and 2 for silicon, that is for low currents. For beyond this knee, that is for high currents, you have to use 1 for both germanium and silicon. Eta is a constant. Then coming to this tk, so tk is represented like this. This is tc plus 273. This is temperature actually in kelvin. So tc is actual operating temperature, which might be 25 degrees centigrade, 26 degrees centigrade, 27, and so on. It is actually the room temperature. So this is one of the simplified versions of current equation. There are also some more versions of this current equation in different textbooks. This is the easiest one, which will actually approximate this Boltzmann constant to 11,600 by eta. Now let us solve one simple problem on this. So this is the textbook example. And silicon diode has a reverse saturation current IS, which is equal to 10 nano ampere, operating at 25 degrees centigrade. Calculate ID for a forward bias of 0.6 volt. So in this problem, what they have given is they have given IS value. So this IS value they have given, which is 10 nano ampere. Afterwards they have given 25 degrees centigrade. So this 25 degrees centigrade is tc. So using this tc you can calculate tk. So after calculation of tk you can insert the value of tk here. Then afterwards what they have given is they have given zero point 0.6 volt. So this zero point 0.6 volt is nothing but vd value. They have given vd value and they have asked you to calculate id. As you know this tc value, first calculate tk. So tk is 25 degrees centigrade plus 273. So here you insert 25. So what you get is 278 degree kelvin. Then afterwards calculate k. So what is k? K is Boltzmann's constant, which is 11,600 divided by eta. So take eta 2, as this is a silicon diode, take eta 2. Take eta 2. Therefore, K will be equal to 11,600 divided by 2, which will be approximately 5,800. You may cross verify this using calculator. Then afterwards, what you do is you calculate this entire term. What is this term? K into Vd. Vd is 0.6. Therefore, K you have calculated 5,800 into 0.6 divided by Tk. So here divided by Tk is there. So Tk is 278. So you will get around this much. Then what you have to do is you have to find out e power this value. So e power this 11.68 will be around this much. Then what you have to do is you have to insert this value here, right? So it is 10 nano ampere into within bracket this value minus 1. So minus 1 is there in the formula. So approximately what you will get is you will get around 1.18 milliampere. So as this 1.18 milliampere is very small value, which is almost negligible. So this justifies that we have taken eta value 2, because here it is clearly mentioned we have to take eta value 2 for silicon for low current. Initially we have assumed eta value 2 After getting the current, it is confirmed that our choice is correct, taking it a value 2. So this is the next topic, equivalent circuit of diode. So first of all, why this equivalent circuit is needed is, see, in electronics, that too, I think you have studied in electrical. So in circuits, what we have to do is we need to perform some kind of circuit analysis or network analysis. Here, what you do is we find out different currents at different nodes, and also we find out the mesh voltages. To perform this circuit analysis or network analysis, we have to replace the devices like diode with its equivalent circuit to find out the value for current, or else the value of voltage. So we have to do that. Now for that, we have to study the equivalent circuit of diode. So there are actually three equivalent circuit models for this diode. They are also called as diode approximations. So the first one is for ideal diode. So diode is basically working like a switch. So a switch in ideal condition. How would a switch work in an ideal condition? When you turn on the switch, immediately the current will flow. So based on that, here you can observe the characteristics for an ideal diode. So here there is no knee voltage, nothing. When you increase your voltage beyond 0, immediately current will flow. So that is how an ideal diode will work. So this is the symbol for ideal diode. The voltage across this is Vd and current which flows through this is Id. I hope this is clear for ideal diode. It is as good as a switch. When you turn on the switch, immediately current is flowing. So in case of ideal diode, it is just like a switch. When you increase the Vd just beyond this 0, immediately current will flow. That is how an ideal diode will work. So this ideal diode is just like a short circuit. You can uh, consider this ideal diode like a short circuit. Next, coming to the second model of this equivalent circuit, it is called as piecewise linear model. So in this piecewise linear model, what we do is we accommodate one parameter, that is Vt, that is threshold voltage or knee voltage. We accommodate this parameter. What we have come across in this characteristic is, after this threshold voltage, there is rapid increase in current. Therefore, we are accommodating this fact that after threshold voltage, there is sudden increase in current. Therefore, here you can see, we till this threshold voltage, till Vd is greater than this threshold voltage, there is no current. Current is not flowing. When this Vd is greater than this threshold voltage, there is a linear increase in current. Why there is a linear increase in current is, even though diode works like a switch, but in practical aspects, this diode is not a actual switch. Therefore, it produces resistance for the movement of the current. So whenever there is resistance for the movement of current, I hope you have learnt the Ohm's law. So in Ohm's law, when you vary the voltage across this resistance, when you start increasing this voltage across this resistance, so the current will linearly increase. So that is what is indicated in this graph. So even after Vt, you need to keep increasing this Vd so that current will increase linearly. This is mainly due to the presence of resistance, which is also called as dynamic resistance. So if you take a slope of this line, if you take a slope of this line, so you will get the equation for this dynamic resistance. So this dynamic resistance Rd is change in Vd divided by change in Id. So you have to differentiate Vd with respect to Id. Change in Vd, change in Id. That is what is a dynamic resistance. So this is the equivalent model for that. So initially, to account this Vt, a battery is indicated. So there is a battery whose voltage is exactly equal to knee voltage. Then afterwards, there is a resistance which indicates the dynamic resistance. The equation for this dynamic resistance is indicated by this equation. Then afterwards, what is this is your ideal diode, which is this one. So this diode exactly behaves like this, which is nothing but a switch. So whenever you increase voltage just beyond VD, it will give you a rapid increase in current. So this complete thing is the linear piecewise model for the diode. So this linear piecewise model accommodates two parameters. First thing is it accommodates VT. Second, it accommodates dynamic resistance RD. So this dynamic resistance RD is approximated to this equation, which is 26 millivolt divided by ID. So this is V by I. R equals V by I. So if you can clearly observe, this is very small quantity. This is very small quantity. Therefore, you can neglect this. This is very small quantity. Therefore, you can neglect this RD. If you neglect this RD, you will come to one more model of this diode, which is called as approximate model. Here, the important thing is you have just removed this RD. Leaving RD, the remaining part is same. So the characteristic is like this. So there is sudden increase in current when you increase this VD beyond VT. Therefore, here VT is mentioned. When VD is greater than VT, there is sudden increase in current ID, right? And you can observe the difference between this characteristic and this. As you have removed the dynamic resistance parameter here, you can see sudden increase in current. As soon as your VT is greater than as soon as your VD is greater than VT, there is sudden rise in current. Here, due to the presence of dynamic resistance, the current is linearly increasing, just like the response of a resistor for the flow of current. According to Ohm's law, the diode is reacting here. Here, the RD is not present, therefore there is sudden increase in current. So this is the equivalent model. I hope this is clear. Any doubts in this? Now let us see one of the applications of this equivalent circuit. So how to use these models to perform network analysis or circuit analysis. So I will take you to one of the examples. I hope this is visible. So what you have to do is for the diode circuits of figure 2.7, find the value of I. Use approximate model of the diode. So approximate model means you have to use the third model, this one, where the equivalent circuit is just a battery along with the ideal diode. Ideal diode is just like a short circuit, right? So this is the first circuit. What you have to do is you have to find out the value of I, right? If you clearly observe this circuit, so the negative terminal of battery is connected to positive terminal of this diode. The positive terminal of battery is connected to the negative terminal of diode through this resistor of 10 ohm. So this is actually reverse biased, right? So in a reverse biased condition, if you take this, if you replace that diode with this ideal diode, so what you can say is in reverse bias condition, this current is zero. Current I is zero. You have to replace this diode with the approximate model, and as it is reverse biased, the current that flows here will be zero. Now consider the second circuit. So here this is the diode. The negative terminal of this battery is connected to negative terminal of diode, and positive terminal of battery is connected to the positive terminal of diode through this resistance, right? So this voltage 20 volt is parallel to both this diode branch as well as this 10 ohm resistance branch, but our interest is to find out only this I, right? Therefore, you can, first thing is you have to replace this with the equivalent circuit. If you replace this with the equivalent circuit, means you have to replace that with this approximate model. So what you will get is, so you will get a battery here, you will get a battery, then afterwards ideal diode. Ideal diode is just like a short connection. Now what you have to find out, you have to find out I. So how will you find out I now? So you have to find out first the equivalent voltage here. So first thing is the total voltage across this branch is 20 minus 0.7, minus 0.7 because there is a battery here whose value is 0.7, right? So here you can see if so for silicon diode, the value of this VT will be 0.7, right? So this is the battery. That battery will be present here. Therefore, 20 is the total voltage across this branch. This 20 total voltage across this branch. That minus 0.7. So you will get around 19.3 divided by 20. So what is this 20 is? 20 is this resistance. So you will get around 0.965. So the value of I will be 0.965. Coming to the third circuit, here you can see there are two diodes which are connected in opposite directions. Two diodes that are connected in opposite direction. The positive terminal of battery is connected to positive terminal of this diode, and the negative terminal of battery is connected to the positive terminal of this diode. Obviously, this diode is reverse biased, and according to our approximate model, whenever it is reverse bias, it is not conducting. So this is open. If there is open circuit, there is no current that is flowing. Therefore, we need not consider this complete branch itself. So this complete branch is a open circuit because this is reverse biased. And whenever this is reverse bias, according to our approximate model, we have an ideal diode here. In the reverse bias, it will not conduct. It is open circuit. Therefore, this complete branch is open circuit. Remaining is this branch. Therefore, this circuit will be reduced to this equivalent circuit. So there is a voltage source here. Positive terminal is connected to this end of resistor, and the negative terminal is connected to this end of resistor. So we have to calculate the value of I. So the value of I will be 10 divided by 10. 10 is this one divided by 10 volt. So you will get around minus 1 ampere. Why minus 1 ampere is the direction of current is in opposite direction to that of conventional current. In the previous slides, I told you that conventional current will always flow from positive terminal of battery towards the negative terminal. But here the direction of current is in opposite direction. Therefore, this minus sign is placed.
ಅಮ್ಮಲೇ ಒಂದು ಕಿಲ್ಲರ್ ನೋಡಿ बोलो बजी
I hope today's concepts are clear. This is sufficient for today's class. I will just go through the attendance. So there are 49 attendees. 49 attendees. Okay, then you may log out from the class. I will carry out the remaining topics in the next week's class. Thank you.